Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you're all doing great and staying focused. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, because here, we don't just talk, we transform. Today's topic is something different, something that sounds simple, but has the power to change the way you see yourself. The question is, tell me something interesting about you. When I first heard that question, I froze, because honestly, I didn't know what to say. Interesting? What's interesting about pain? About failure? About starting over? But maybe that's where the real story begins. Maybe what makes us interesting isn't how perfect we look, but how strong we've become after breaking. Chapter 1. The question that woke me up. Have you ever been asked that question? Tell me something interesting about you, and didn't know what to say? It sounds simple, doesn't it? But that question, it's deeper than it looks. It's not about your job, your achievements, or your hobbies. It's about who you are when everything else is stripped away. When someone asks me that now, I don't talk about success. I talk about failure, because success never taught me anything. Failure did. I talk about the nights I couldn't sleep because I hated the person I was becoming. I talk about the mornings I woke up with no motivation, but still showed up. I talk about how I built discipline when my emotions tried to destroy me. That's what's interesting. Not perfection, but persistence. Chapter 2. The Mirror. Moment. There was a day I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. I had everything people thought mattered: comfort, validation, attention. But inside, I was empty. And I realized something. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. Everyone wants to look successful, but few are brave enough to become strong. That day, I decided to change. Not for people, not for applause, but because I couldn't stand the version of me who kept running from pain. Pain became my teacher. Discipline became my best friend. And silence became my power. Chapter 3. The Breaking Point. The breaking point isn't when life gets hard. It's when you start to believe you can't handle it. I remember sitting alone, thinking maybe I wasn't made for this. Maybe I should quit. But then, a voice inside whispered, "You've already been through hell. Why stop now?" That voice, that tiny spark, changed everything, because motivation fades, but commitment rewires your soul. So I stopped waiting for motivation. I started acting without permission from my feelings, and every small act of courage built a version of me that fear could no longer control. Chapter 4. The Rebuild. When you start rebuilding yourself, you'll lose people. They won't understand your silence. They'll call you distant, arrogant, or cold, but they don't know you're busy constructing something stronger. Something they can't see yet. Growth is lonely. Healing is painful, but nothing compares to the power that comes when you finally respect your own energy. Every single day, I started doing one thing that scared me. I spoke less, I listened more, I learned how to control my mind before it destroyed me. And that's when everything shifted. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you become. So I stopped chasing things and started building character. Chapter 5. Lessons from the Fire. If you want to know something interesting about me, it's not the victories I've had, it's the moments I almost gave up but didn't. The times I cried but wiped my own tears. The times I walked alone when everyone left. The times I smiled with a storm inside my chest. That's the real story. That's the real me. Because life doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most resilient. You can lose everything: your comfort, your confidence, your connections. But if you don't lose your will, you're still dangerous. Chapter 6. Becoming unstoppable. Let me tell you something about strength. It's not about never breaking. It's about breaking and building again, stronger than before. Every person you admire was once where you are, lost, confused, weak. The only difference is, they didn't stop. They turned their pain into purpose. They used rejection as redirection. They saw every setback as a setup for a comeback. And you can too. You just have to stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop asking your emotions for permission to grow. You're not tired. You're just undisciplined. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not behind. You're being prepared. Chapter 7. The Awakening. Now, when someone asks me, "Tell me something interesting about you," I don't tell them stories to impress. I tell them truths to inspire. I tell them I've been through hell, and I built a home there. I tell them I've learned that peace is louder than attention. I tell them I've made mistakes, but I turn them into lessons. And most importantly, I tell them I've learned how to love the process, not just the result, because real growth isn't loud. It's quiet. It happens when no one's watching. When you're fighting battles in silence, when you choose discipline over comfort, that's when transformation begins. Chapter 8. Your turn. Now it's your turn. When life asks you, "Tell me something interesting about you," don't talk about your job or achievements. Talk about your journey. Tell the world how you kept going when no one believed in you, how you built faith in the dark, how you turned your weakness into wisdom. Because your story is not over. You're still becoming the person who will inspire others to rise. Remember this. You don't have to be extraordinary to start. You just have to start to become extraordinary. Chapter 9. The Truth About You. Here's the truth. You're not ordinary. You've survived everything that was meant to break you. You faced storms that others never saw. And yet, you're still here. So tell me something interesting about you. You're still standing. You're still fighting. And that's more than interesting. That's inspiring.